Thank you very much indeed. Hello, I'm Alexander Armstrong, and welcome to Pointless, the quiz that puts obscure knowledge to the test. Let's meet today's players. And couple number one.
Hello, I'm Ali. I'm from Uttoxeter, Staffordshire, and this is my daughter from Nottingham.
Couple number two.
Hi, I'm Dan. This is my girlfriend, Cav, and we're from Torquay in Devon.
Couple number three.
Hi, I'm Bex. This is my husband, John, and we're from Liverpool.
And finally, couple number four.
Hi, I'm Peter. This is my wife, Helen, and we're from Delamere in Cheshire.
And these are today's contestants. Thank you very much, all of you. Very warm welcome to the show. Lovely to have you here. That just leaves one more person for me to introduce. Harder to follow than an encore by the Beatles. It's my pointless friend, it's Richard.
Hiya. Hey, everybody. Hello there.
Hello. I nearly stumbled on your name there, like I'd forgotten it or something.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I think that Ali did forget Deb's name. She just said, this is my daughter. She said, no, that's all. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting.
Thank goodness for the name badges.
Fortunately, there's the name badge. If you need me to wear a name badge, you just
Not
let me
yet,
know.
but
if you're getting to the stage where you're looking over and going, now, I know that face. Who is that?
I've
Richard.
called you many things over the years. I mean, you know...
For sure.
Chris, earlier today, for no reason I know. And once upon a time, Darling.
There we go. That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's my favourite, I have to say.
There we go.
Thank you, dear. Now, welcome back. Two returning pairs, Peter and Helen, welcome back. 2 round 2s so far. So steady thus far. Last chance now to get your hands on those Pointless trophies. And Bex and John got through to the head-to-head on their first show, which is very, very impressive. And we keep giving away the jackpot. We keep giving it away.
I know. I mean, you know, it's nice that we do.
Yeah.
But occasionally it's nice when it pools.
Yeah.
Pool
but
of
then,
dirt.
I mean, obviously, we want somebody to win because that's nice.
Of course.
But
you know
then we've got to think about contestants from in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Playing for £71,000,
exciting.
which would be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
But listen, if you want to be selfish and win, that's absolutely fine with us.
Well, there we are. As you gather, Mona and Ollie won the jackpot last time, which means we start off with a pristine jackpot account at £1,000. There we are. Right, if everyone's ready, let's play Pointless. Well, remember, it is always going to be the pair with the highest score at the end of each round that gets eliminated. So as long as you keep your scores nice and low, you have nothing to fear. Best of luck to all 4 pairs. Our first category this afternoon is UK geography. Can you all decide in your pairs who wants to go first, who wants to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, let's find out what the question is. Here it comes. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many UK cities containing the letters O, L or D as they could.
Yep, any official UK city as of the start of 2021, please, that has an O, an L or a D somewhere in its name.
Yeah, oh Lord, as it says up there. There we go.
Oh, yeah, oh Lord.
Oh Lord. Now, Debs, welcome to Pointless. Tell us all about Debs.
So I am a data analyst for a law firm based in Nottingham, and that has kind of made me the IT person of the family now. So whenever my uncle has any IT issues, which is usually the main person, he rings me up. Even if I'm in a cinema watching a film with my mother, he rings me twice, so I panic that something's happened.
So you rush out.
Rush out.
Lots of spilt popcorn.
Ring him and going, what's happened?
What? He goes,
what's going on?
Right.
And
it's the icon.
He's forgot what his password was, and apparently I'm supposed to remember his passwords as well as mine.
Wow.
Was it Uncle who?
My uncle, his name's Dave.
Uncle, come on, of course he's called Dave.
Yes.
Of course he's called
Uncle Dave.
What else would he be called? Uncle Dave, come on, mate.
Debs, what are you going to go for?
Well, seeing as though I'm from Nottingham, I'm going to go with Nottingham.
Why not? Why not? Nottingham, let's see how Nottingham fares. Down to 15. Not bad at all. Good start to the round. 15.
Well done. I wonder if we should just do a round of where are you from, everybody? That would be, and then see who wins. It was originally called Snottingham or Snottingham. It was run by. It was like a tribal leader called Snot. It was his people. So there you go. But now it's Nottingham.
No,
I didn't know that either. Wow. There we go. Thank you very much indeed. Now, Cav, welcome to Pointless. Good to have you here. Tell us all about yourself.
Hi, I'm an educational psychologist from Torquay.
Wow, that's fun. How long have you been doing that?
About 6 years now.
And do you work with educators or educatees?
Well, both. So I get young people referred to me from the educators, so from the teachers
Right.
and staff members, and then I work with the young people themselves and then provide advice to the families and teachers that are supporting them.
Very good. And what are your interests, Cav?
I really enjoy running and swimming and tennis, so lots of sporty bits, but I also like art and painting for some downtime.
OK, very good. Now, Cav, UK cities with these letters in them. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking I'm going to go with somewhere local, so we're from Torquay, so I'm going to go with Truro.
Truro. Very nice indeed. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Truro. Truro is right. 15 is the only score we have at the moment. I have a feeling Truro might beat that, and it does. Ah, and how? Down it goes to 1. Very strong, Cav. 1 for Truro.
Very well played, Cav. Yeah, you're so far winning in this round of Where Are You From? 2 other Truros in the world. There's one in the US, in Massachusetts, and one in Nova Scotia as well. They think it comes from 3 rivers. There's 3 rivers that meet at Truro, and that's where the name is from.
Ah, very nice. Thank you very much indeed. Richard, now, Bex, welcome back. Remind us all about yourself.
So I live in Liverpool and I'm a meteorologist, not to be confused with a meteorologist.
She's learnt that idiots like me think they're the same thing. Yeah.
She's learnt we're idiots.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Very good. You make instruments that measure things.
Well, I
I
use instruments to measure things.
Oh, I see. Oh, I only learned, I mean, literally, baby steps on the metrology front.
You might have to come back for a third show for us to really get a handle on what it is exactly that you do.
Right, OK. You use instruments to measure things.
Exactly.
I see, much as we all do, actually, but I think rather more sophisticated instruments, rather more sophisticated and necessary measurements, probably. Bex, how are we feeling about our cities?
Not too bad.
Are you going to go local or are you going to go further afield?
I'm going to go very local to my hometown. So this is somewhere we usually stop when we take a journey back to Weymouth, which is Wells.
Wells.
Yeah.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Wells. Wells is right. 15 is our high score, 1 is our low. That goes down to 2. Very well done indeed. 2 for Wells.
Very nicely played. Some very good answers so far. Yeah, Wells got 2 L's in it, hasn't it? If it didn't, it would be called Wheeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Wes.
That's a bad name for a city.
Yeah.
Wheeze, and especially given how close it is to Bath.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Oh, I just worked.
Or convenient.
I could say Bath halfway through that sentence.
Yeah, well done. Well
Thanks.
done. Thank you very much indeed. Now then, Peter, welcome back. Your 3rd and final attempt at that pointless summit. Remind us all about yourself, Peter.
I like travelling, and I combine travelling with one of my other pastimes, which is playing golf. So I'm part of a group of lads who, in the summer, have normally a week or just under a week away playing golf around the country, different parts of the country, Scotland, Wales, normally links golf.
That's nice.
And at the end of the year, a different group tends to go to either Spain or Portugal for a golf trip.
Right, OK. Now, Peter, what are you going to go for? What city are you going to go for in the UK?
I'm going to go for what's the nearest city to where I was born, which contains all of the letters, actually. I'm going to go for Salford.
Salford, says Peter. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Salford. Salford is right. Well, 15 is the high score, 1 is the low. On that scale, where does Salford end up? 5. Not bad.
Terrific work so far from everybody. Well played, yeah. And as you say, it contains all 3 of them. That's good. And it was made a city 70 years after Manchester.
Nice. Well done.
Oh, that was a tightrope walk.
Yeah,
blimey.
No, well done, though. Well done.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. We are halfway through the round. Let's have a look at those scores. 1 was the best score of the past, Cav. Very well done to you. 2 is where we find Bex and John. 5 is where we find Peter and Helen. Then 15 is where we find Debs and Ali. You're a little bit ahead there. Let's see if we can find maybe a further flung city that'll score you fewer points. Good luck with that, Ali. We're going to come back down the line now. Well, the second players, please step up to the podium. There we are. Helen, welcome back. Remind us all about yourself, Helen.
I enjoy my water sports is one of the pastimes that I tend to do. My favourite one was my sister lives in Canada. So she lives on a lake in Canada. So for my 50th birthday, she arranged for me to do some flyboarding, which is where you put your concrete boots on, you get attached to like a jet ski, and then they send air through a tube that takes you out of the water and into the air. So you hover on the water. It's great fun, great fun.
That does sound fun. The concrete boots scare me a little bit, but there we are.
That worried me, the concrete, but that doesn't sound right.
No, not entirely, but there we are. No, I'll take your word for it. It does sound fun. Now, you're on 5.
Yep.
We're looking for, ideally, 9 or less gets you into the next round.
OK, well, I'm actually an Essex girl by birth, so I'm going to go back to my roots and say Chelmsford.
Chelmsford. Chelmsford, says Helen. Here is your red line. Let's see where Chelmsford ends up. Chelmsford is right. Very well done. Gets you through, down to 2. A total of 7. Brilliant.
Well played, Helen. I'm an Essex boy by birth as well, and that's the county town of Essex. It's got all 3 letters in it as well, Chelmsford.
That's nice. Big of it. Thank you very much indeed. Now, John, welcome back. Remind us all about yourself, John.
Well, I'm a bit of a geek and I love my computer games. I actually have a degree in computer games technology.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I mean, was the degree fun to do, or was it actually incredibly hard work?
It's a lot less fun than it sounds.
Yeah,
Not a lot of playing games, a lot more maths.
Yeah. What do you like to get up to, John?
Well, I play a lot of video games. We've got about 12 or 13 different retro consoles set up in our lounge, so...
Oh, and are they all plugged into a
big unit with about 12 of them all in, yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. John, you're on 2. If you can score 12 or less, you're into round 2.
I've got a couple going around in my head. There's one I'm not sure about. I'm not sure whether to risk it or play a bit safer. I think I'll play safer and head up to Scotland and go for Aberdeen.
Aberdeen, says John. Here is your red line. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Aberdeen. Aberdeen is right. And you're through. Look at that, just. There we are. 8 takes your total up to 10.
Another good answer. It's got a D in it there. What a great round from everyone.
Yeah. There we are. OK, Dan, welcome. Tell us all about yourself, Dan.
So I'm a marketing assistant at a country store. So I'm from Devon. There's a lot of farms around us, and we just sell everything that keeps farmers farming, really.
That's lovely. So it's like a farm shop, really, is it?
It is, yeah. So everything we sell.
I love farm
tractors, quad bikes, but then also waterproof, swellies, animal feed.
Oh,
yeah,
you sell that. I
Yeah.
see. So, animal feed, I know exactly the kind of shop. Yeah, I love those sorts of shops.
Nice.
Spend hours and pounds in them. Dan, you're on 1. Brilliant score from Cav in the first pass. 13 or less gets you into the next round.
OK. So I think I'm going to go even more local than Truro and say Plymouth.
Plymouth, says Dan. OK, here comes your red line. Can you get below this red line with Plymouth? Well, it's a city. And it gets you through. Down it goes to 7. Very well done, taking your total up to 8. Sailing into round 2.
Yep, rather aptly from Plymouth. Sailing from Plymouth, and L and an O in Plymouth.
Yeah,
there they are.
Brilliant.
Otherwise, it would be called Plymouth.
Yeah, I think
that's less
better
good.
As is. Yeah, less good altogether. Ali, listen, I mean, the good news is you're here, which is wonderful. Welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Bad news is you're our high scorers. But let's put that to one side for a moment. Tell us all about yourself, Ali.
OK, so I'm a customer service advisor for a company that does online training for solicitors, barristers, dentists and accountants.
Very good. Ali, what are you going to go for?
OK, so I'm going for a Staffordshire city where we are near, called Lichfield.
Lichfield, says Ali. Lovely answer. No red line for you, I'm afraid, as you're the high scorers. But let's see how far down the column we get with Lichfield. It's right. Down it goes to 5. Good score. Takes your total up to 20.
Yeah, it's had city status since the 16th century, Lichfield. Look forward very much to seeing you next time, because that is very unfortunate to be knocked out. 2 very good answers. Loads of low scorers here, actually. I'll go from 2 downwards. 2 points for Hereford, Preston, St Albans, Stoke-on-Trent would have been a 2-pointer. Wakefield and Worcester, 1 point for Belfast. Ripon would have been a 1-pointer. Sunderland as well. And there's 5 pointless answers. Let's take a look at them. You could have said Bangor. You could have said City of Westminster, which that's its official name, so it's got an O in the of. Lisburn in Northern Ireland was a pointless answer. Newport in Wales and Stirling up in Scotland. Those are your pointless answers. But Nottingham, so far down the list, I mean, there's so many answers above that. For that to be the biggest scorer in the round. What a round. Well played, everybody.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. That brings us to the end of the round. And as Richard says, we have to say goodbye to one of our pairs, Ali and Debs, I'm afraid, on 20. Seems very unfair, but thank you so much for coming and playing. We'll see you again next time. Look forward to it very much. Ali and Debs, thank you. But for the remaining 3 pairs, it is now time for round 2. There we are, down to 3 pairs. Very well done, everybody. Very low-scoring first round. But best of luck to all 3 pairs. Brand new round. And our second round today is all about history. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, and the question concerns famous explorers and adventurers. Richard.
Yeah, exactly that. On each board, 6 clues to famous explorers or adventurers. Can you tell us who they are, please? 6 on the first, 6 on the second, so 12 in all to have a go at home. Very best of luck.
Thank you very much indeed. So who are these explorers or adventurers? I wonder what the difference is between... French oceanographer, known for his underseas investigations and for co-inventing the aqualung, J.C. Italian-born explorer who in 1492 set sail across the Atlantic with the Nina, Pinta and Santa Maria, C.C. Scottish missionary who named the falls on the Zambezi River after Queen Victoria, D.L. Captain who mapped the New Zealand and Australian coasts, naming Australia's east coast New South Wales, J.C. US aviator whose aircraft disappeared over the Pacific Ocean during her round-the-world flight in 1937, A.E. And the first Briton to go into space on board Soyuz TM-12 in a joint UK-Russian venture, H.S. Cav.
Oh, this isn't a good round for me. I think I'm going to have to go take a guess at the captain who mapped the New Zealand and Australian coast as John Cook.
John Cook, says Cav. Let's see if that is right. John Cook. No bad luck. Sorry, Cav, not John Cook. That scores you 100 points.
Sorry, Cav, I'll give all the correct answers at the end of the pass.
Thanks very much indeed. Now, Bex.
OK, this is not the best round for me. I know 2 answers, but I think both of them are going to be really high. So I'm going to go for the US aviator whose aircraft disappeared is Amelia Earhart.
Amelia Earhart. OK, let's see if that is right. Let's see how many of our 100 people said that. Amelia Earhart. It is absolutely right. Down it goes to 40. Not bad.
Yeah, and I would say, look, I think that's the difference between an explorer and an adventurer. She was an adventurer. She took on extraordinary challenges to push the boundaries of what human beings could do.
Yeah.
Explorers tend to be trying to, you know,
Map,
extend knowledge and stuff.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Quite right. Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Peter, would you like to explore, be the pioneer that leads us?
The top one, I think, is Jacques Cousteau, Christopher Columbus, David Livingstone. I think it's James Cook. I'm not 100% sure. And the bottom one, I don't know. I think it's Helen something, but I'm not sure. I think I'll go for Jacques Cousteau.
Jacques Cousteau, says Peter. Let's see how many of our 100 said Jacques Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau is absolutely right. 100 points is our high score, 40 is our low, and you passed both of them. 33 is where you end up.
Took us through the board beautifully there, Peter, and also chose the best answer of the ones you knew as well. So very nicely done. It is Christopher Columbus. Columbus would have scored you 54. You presumed it was David Livingstone, and it was. He would have scored you 38. Yeah, JC is James Cook. Cav, unlucky, not John Cook. Captain Cook, he would have scored you 36. And the bottom one, the first Briton?
No, I don't know.
I had the great pleasure of meeting her recently. She's absolutely lovely. Helen Sharman is the answer. Helen Sharman would have scored you 8 points. Very well done if you said that.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Well, we are halfway through the round, so let's have a look at those scores. 33, Peter, well done. Best score of the pass. Bex and John, we find you on 40. And then up to 100, where we find Cav and Dan. I mean, who knows what will happen in the next pass, Dan, but we most certainly need a low score from you, so good luck with that. We're going to come back down the line now. Will the second players please step up to the podium? OK, let's put 6 more clues to explorers and adventurers up on the board, and here they come. We have got, with Tenzing Norgay, this mountaineer completed the first ascent of Mount Everest, EH. Russian cosmonaut who aboard Vostok 1 became the first person in space, YG. This Antarctic explorer's ship, Endurance, was crushed in the ice and he became stranded on Elephant Island, ES. British aviator who became the first woman to fly solo from the UK to Australia, AJ. Venetian who travelled extensively in China and along the Silk Road in the late 1200s, MP. And archaeologist who became the first British woman to map and travel across Arabia, GB. There we are. Helen.
A really, really tough ball for me.
It is a tough ball. Let me give you a target, though. If you can score 66 or less, you're in good order.
I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce this right, but I'm going to go for the Russian cosmonaut, Yuri Gagarin.
Yuri Gagarin. Here is your red line, Helen. Let's see where we end up with Yuri Gagarin. Oh, bad luck. Bad luck. That scores you 100 points, takes your total up to 133. Opening the door, a little crack there for Dan.
Yeah, sorry, Helen, can't take it, I'm afraid. I'll give all the correct answers at the end of the pass.
Thank you very much, Richard. Now then, John. We're looking for a target of 92 or less.
I'm quite glad of that. That was the only one I knew. I have a guess for another, but I'll go safe, and I think it's Yuri Gagarin.
Yuri Gagarin, says John. OK, here is your red line. Let's see if we can get you below that red line with Yuri Gagarin. It's right, you're through. Very well done. That goes down to 40, exactly the same score as Bex, taking your total up to a lovely round 80.
Yuri's only in space for 108 minutes and never went back, Yuri Gagarin, but will forever be the first person in space.
Only 108 minutes.
And the Americans went up a month later. Alan Shepard, a month later.
Did 108 and a half minutes.
Yeah, said, how do you like me now, Yuri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Now then, Dan, we have a target score for you, and it is 32. 32 or less.
I'm going to go for the Antarctic explorer and say Ernest Shackleton.
Ernest Shackleton, says Dan. Here comes your red line. Let's see if we can get you below that red line with Ernest Shackleton. Ernest Shackleton is absolutely right. Gets you through. Down against 15. Very well done indeed. 115 your total. You are into round 3.
Very well played. Lovely end to the round. And he's sort of on the cusp of adventurer and explorer, because I know there was some exploring going on, but there was also a sense of daring do.
He's an explorer.
Slightly. He's an explorer. Yeah. Exactly. He's an advorer.
Yeah.
Let's fill the rest of these in, shall we? Completed the first ascent of Everest.
Edmund Hillary.
Edmund Hillary. Would have scored you 36. The aviator.
Amy Johnson.
Amy Johnson. 33. The Venetian.
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo. Would have scored you 35. Now this last one. Best answer on the board.
Wonderful person. Gertrude Bell.
Gertrude Bell, yeah. If you don't know her, read up about it. It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. 3 points for Gertrude Bell.
Northumbrian, in fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Like so many great people.
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. So at the end of our second round, we have to say goodbye to one of our pairs. Oh, no. Oh, no. Helen and Peter, it's just struck home that you'll be striking home after this, in fact. Thank you so much for playing. It's been lovely having you here. I'm sorry we didn't get you a trophy to take back with you. Anyway, thank you so much, as I say. Helen and Peter. But for the remaining 2 pairs, it's now time for the head-to-head. Congratulations, Bex and John, Dan and Cav. You are now 1 step closer to the final and a chance to play for our jackpot, which currently still stands at £1,000. But before we play the head-to-head, we have a little chance to boost that jackpot a bit by finding some pointless answers. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many edible beans as they could, Richard.
Yeah, it'll be 6 names on the board. As always, we've made 2 of them up, but 4 of them are real. And of those real ones, you just have to find the 2 obscure ones, please. 250 quid for each one you do. See if you can find both of those pointless answers at home.
Thank you very much indeed. OK, so we're looking for the 2 pointless edible beans amongst this hill. And we've got Calypso, Trout, Daisy, Adzuki, Lung, Flageolet. So, Bex and John will go first. But this is the point where it's great to pool your knowledge. If anyone has any firm ideas, or better still, firm info.
Do you know any? I'm not certain on many of them.
I don't have a firm idea, but I have a hunch that Azuki might be
Azuki is one, I think.
Yeah.
But other than that...
I think Lung is ringing a bell, like Lung Bean, but I'm not certain on that one.
I know there's a mung bean.
Right, we're just going to have a bit of a guess, and we'll go for the Flageolet?
The flageolet bean. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said flageolet. Well, it's definitely a bean. The question is it a pointless bean? No, I'm afraid 4 of our 100 had heard of the flageolet bean, which means, Dan and Cav, it's in your hands. Can we wrench something from this round, get some extra money in that jackpot? What are you going to go for?
What do you think? Like Adzuki is a bean, but is it going to be pointless? Or do we gamble and go for...
Maybe gamble and go for something more obscure.
I want to try a Calypso bean. It sounds...
Oh, I'm longing to try one.
But is it an actual bean?
I don't know, only one way to find out.
OK, let's gamble and say Calypso bean.
You're going to go for a Calypso bean. Let's see. Is a Calypso bean... Is it a bean? Is it a pointless bean? It is a bean. It's a pointless bean. Very well done indeed, Dan and Cav. Fabulous. Good work.
Yeah, and Cav bringing exactly the right energy into that, which is only one way to find out. And that is the way to find out. Very well done. Now, let's take a look at the rest of these. Adzuki, I think everyone avoided, quite rightly. That would have scored you points. Would have scored you 2 points. Lung bean, I think you worked out firstly there's a mung bean and there's a kidney bean, but there isn't a lung bean. So that was incorrect. But so Trout and Daisy, one of them's incorrect and one of those is a pointless answer. What do you reckon? Flageolet and Adzuki are both things occasionally you hear on MasterChef.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's how I knew they were beans.
Yeah.
Someone's usually cooking something with them.
I haven't heard of either of them, but a trout bean, I think... Yeah, trout bean, I think, is the...
Is trout bean the other pointless answer? Calypso and Trout. Very well done if you said that at home. Also, a great cop duo, Calypso and Trout. And Daisy, another incorrect answer.
Amphibious crime.
Yeah,
great.
sold
They're
by
all
Calypso and Trout.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Let's pitch that.
Yeah, very good. Thank
Straight
you very
after
much.
the show. While the news is on.
Yeah, we'll do that. Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Richard. OK, now, well done. You managed to find one pointless answer, which means we've added £250 to the jackpot, and it now stands at £1,250. But who'll be playing for it? Let's find out in the head-to-head. First pair to win 2 questions will be playing for that jackpot, and you are now allowed to confer. Very best of luck. Here is your first question. It's all about laboratory equipment, Richard.
Yeah, this would be a pretty good round for a metrologist, I have to say that. We're going to show you 6 pieces of glassware you might find in a laboratory. We're missing out alternate letters of their names. Like literally everybody just looking at Bex going, go on then. Can you tell us what these are, please?
OK, let's reveal the pieces of laboratory equipment, and here they come. We've got CNCLFAK, A. RTR, B. MAUIG, CLNE, C. PTI, DS, D. And BRTE, E. OK. Now, Bex and John, you're our golden couple, so you get to go first.
OK, so we know them all apart from B. So we'll go for E, which is a burette.
OK, a burette, say Bex and John. Dan and Cav, do you want to talk us through that board?
Well, I think A is a conical flask and D is the Petri dish.
Yeah.
Have you got any idea?
I only knew Petri dish, but I don't think it's going to be E. You think anything what B might be?
Yeah. Root. I'm not sure.
Should we go Petri dish or
conical flask? I think.
Yeah.
We're going to go with A, conical flask.
A, conical flask. So we have got burette versus conical flask. Bex and John went for burette for E. Let's see how many of our 100 people said burette. Burette is right. That goes down to 21. Meanwhile, Dan and Cav have gone for conical flask for A. Let's see how many of our 100 said conical flask. Conical flask is right. That goes down to 67, which means, well done, Bex and John, after one question, you're up 1-0.
Yeah, very well played. Only one where you could have beaten Burette, and that's having a risk on B, which we will get to. Let's look at C and D. C is...
I can't make anything out of that.
Can you work out the second word?
Well, I was getting sort of... Calendar is all I could get.
If I said there's a Y after the C...
Oh, it's a cylinder.
It is a cylinder. And what's it doing? What's the cylinder doing?
It's a measuring cylinder.
There
Oh, for
we
goodness
go.
sake. I thought it was... I'm really how stupid. Sorry.
A measuring cylinder, 31 for that. Petri dish, absolutely. It's a big scorer. That would have scored you 75. Now, B would have won you the point if you'd filled in those gaps, but it's...
is it called a rotary? Maybe is it called a rotary?
I thought rotary. It's exactly what I thought, because it fits, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's
and
not
maybe
called
you
a
turn
rotary.
it round, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe that kind of spins or something.
Yeah.
Not a rotary. Anyone at home got this? Another word that fits in there? It's a retort.
That's what the stand's for.
There you go.
That's why they have the stand.
Retort.
The retort, yeah.
Yeah, would have scored you 5 points.
Nice, nice. Thank you very much indeed. Well, here comes your second question. Dan and Cav, you get to answer it first, but you have to win it to stay in the game, so best of luck. Our second question today is all about Bond films. Richard.
Yep, we're going to give you the numbers of letters in each word of various Bond films now and the year in which they were released, but what are these Bond films, please?
OK, thank you very much indeed. Let's reveal our 5 Bond films, and here they come. We have 837, 1971, 4333, 1973, 333, 52, 1977, 854, 1997, and 66, 2006. Dan and Cav will go first.
Which one is that? Die Another Day. I can't see that one.
What's the 1977 one? OK, Dan and Cav, have you arrived at an answer?
I think so, yeah. I think we're going to go for 1973 and say Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die for 1973. Bex and John, do you want to talk us through those other Bond films?
We only know the bottom 2. I think 2006 is Casino Royale, but we're going to go for 97, which I think is Tomorrow Never Dies.
OK, Tomorrow Never Dies. So we have got Live and Let Die versus Tomorrow Never Dies. Dan and Cav are going for Live and Let Die for 1973. Let's see how many of our 100 people got that. Live and Let Die is absolutely right, and not bad. Dan goes to 28. That's what you've got to beat with Tomorrow Never Dies, Bex and John. Let's see how many of our 100 people said it. Tomorrow Never Dies. It's right. And it wins the point for you. Very well done indeed. Dan goes to 13. And that means, Bex and John, after only 2 questions, you are straight through to the final. Very well done indeed.
Very well played. You're right about the bottom one. That is Casino Royale. That would have scored you 26. Now, I've worked out the 1977
Yeah, I've got that one.
Have you got that
Spy
one?
Who Loved Me.
The Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's easier to work them out from the theme songs.
Yeah.
That was scored 12. The top one I can't get, and I'm deliberately not looking at my bit of paper.
It's obviously it's Connery. It's
8, 3. Oh, I just got it. It's because you said Connery. That's why I got it. Very famous Connery one. Great song.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever. There you go. And I'm glad it is. Imagine if we said that and it wasn't. 10 points for that. So that's actually the best answer on the board.
There
So I
we
don't
are.
feel quite so bad that it was the last one we
Nor
worked
do
out.
I. There we are.
Well done if you got all 5 of those at home. That's very, very impressive.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. So the pair leaving us at the end of the head-to-head round. Dan and Cav, listen, you've done fantastically well through to the head-to-head in your very first appearance. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks very much for playing, Dan and Cav. But for Bex and John, it's now time for the pointless final. Oh, congratulations, Bex and John. You have fought off all the competition and you've won our coveted pointless trophy. You now get a chance to win our pointless jackpot. And at the end of today's show, the jackpot is standing at £1,250. It would be so lovely to send you back to Liverpool with a jackpot in your back pockets. What would you like to see come up?
For me, a bit of Formula One would be okay. Or
Yeah, we haven't had that for a while.
Red Dwarf is always a good one for me as well.
Okay, yeah.
For me, geography, like countries, capitals, anything like that, anything Harry Potter or Disney, that would be quite good.
Okay, well, let's see what we can offer you today. We have got darts, the early decades of the UK charts, the Roosevelts, and Cornish art and entertainment.
Well, definitely not darts.
Definitely not Cornish art. I don't know what Roosevelts would be.
I presume it's going to be like FDR, Teddy, like presidents
I know
and
nothing,
stuff.
so that would be on you. Early decades of the UK charts, we can have a punt.
We're just going to have to
So
guess
it's
at
up
the charts. I think, yeah, charts.
Yeah, we're going to go for the early decades of the UK charts.
Okay, that's what it is, early decades of the UK charts.
Listen, very, very best of luck. OK, fingers crossed you can come up with something here. We're looking for any act which had 2 or more UK #1 singles during these decades, please. Any act who had more than 1 UK #1 single in the 1950s. We are looking for any act who had more than 1 UK #1 single in the 1960s. And I'm going to shock you with this last category. We are looking for any act who had more than 1 UK #1 single in the 1970s. That is according to the official charts company.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Now, as always, you've got up to a minute to come up with 3 answers. All you need to win that jackpot is for just one of your answers to be pointless. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Good. Let's put 60 seconds up on the clock. There they are. Your time starts now.
What do you think?
70s, you got 10cc mud.
I don't think Creedence did anything. They got to #1, did it?
They did, but it was only one, and I think it was 79.
Alice Cooper.
Only one, I think, 74.
The ones I know is like Led Zeppelin and people.
1960s, there was a name that came up, and I think it was Jack Ifield.
Frankie Field.
Frankie Field, that was it.
Did he get #1s though?
Yeah.
What about T-Rex?
That was 70s, yeah.
So what are we gonna? Oh, we got 28. I don't know many 50s, like a few.
I know quite a lot of 50s, but I know a lot of like really well-known 50s.
Yeah, I don't think someone like Chuck Berry or.
What about somebody like Del Shannon for the 60s?
If you think they got a couple of #1s.
I know they definitely have one.
10 seconds left.
Okay, so let's go. 7.
T-Rex, 10cc.
T-Rex, 10cc in 60s. Jack.
Or Frankie Field.
Frankie Field.
OK, that is your time up. Sounds like you've got some good answers bubbling around. What are you going to go for?
OK, so for the 1960s, we're going to go for Frankie Field.
Frankie Field.
Will you forgive me and spell that for me?
It's like
Frankie Field.
Frank, and then it's I Field.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. But
I think Frank Ifield, yeah.
Frank Ifield.
Yeah.
So what 3 answers are you going to give me?
So for the 1960s, we're going to go for Frank Ifield.
Frank Ifield. OK, Frank Ifield.
10cc.
For the
10cc.
70s. And T-Rex for the 70s.
And T-Rex. Brilliant. And of those, which do you think is your best shot at a pointless answer?
Probably Frank Ifield.
OK, Frank Ifield we'll put last. Least likely to be pointless?
T-Rex.
Probably T-Rex.
T-Rex, and then we put 10cc in the middle. Fantastic. OK, well, let's put those answers up on the board in that order, and here they are. We have got T-Rex, 10cc, and Frank Ifield. Well, very, very best of luck. If you were going to win the jackpot with one of these, what would you like to spend your £1,250 on, Bex?
So we're planning a trip to Japan, which is going to cost quite a lot of money, so it'll probably go towards that.
Very good. When are you going to do that, do you think?
Hopefully next year, we're
Next year.
hoping.
Brilliant. But you've got your itinerary all planned.
Half of it.
Very exciting. Well, it would be so lovely if we could help you on your way with a nice jackpot win here. Your first answer was T-Rex. By the way, I was very impressed by your chart knowledge. Where did that? Have you just been studying it for this, or?
We did a little bit of revision, but I grew up listening to my dad's tapes in the car, so...
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Thanks,
fantastic.
Dad.
Well, there we are. Thanks, Dad, indeed. T-Rex was your first answer. In this case, we were looking for acts from the 1970s with more than one #1. Let's see if T-Rex is right. Let's see how many of our 100 said it. For £1,250, it could be pointless. Well, it's right. T-Rex just has to take us all the way down to 0, and you will leave with that jackpot of £1,250. Down we go. Oh, not quite single figures. 10 to T-Rex. Good answer, though. Let's hope nobody said your next answer, 10cc. And again, we are in the 70s, looking for acts with more than one UK #1. Let's see how many people said 10cc. Let's see if it's right. 10cc. It's another correct answer. £1,250 will be yours if this goes all the way down to 0. T-Rex took us down to 10. 10cc passes 10. Still going down with 10cc. Still go 1 for 10cc. Oh, that's a great answer. OK, now everything is riding on Frank Ifield. Your third and final answer. This is the one you had no hesitation putting last. We're looking now in the 1960s for acts with more than one UK #1. Frank Ifield. How many people said it? Is it right? It absolutely is right. £1,250 riding on this if this goes down to 0. We went down to 10 with T-Rex, 1 with 10cc, still going down with Frank Ifield, still going down. You've done it! There we are, very well done indeed. Oh, okay. Congratulations. Frank Ifield was a pointless answer, which means you are taking home the jackpot of £1,250. Brilliant.
Very well done. Terrific. Frank Ifield has the ring of an answer you just revised rather than knew about.
Definitely, yeah. That was
Frank Ifield had 4 #1s in the early 60s. Did you just read his name somewhere and thought, I'm going to keep that in mind?
So I was looking at I was looking at 60s music, and he just came up a couple of times, so I was like, I'll remember that name.
Wow. Well, he's just won you £1,250. You'll have to raise a glass to him when you're in Japan. Now, there's loads and loads of good pointless answers here. There's loads of names you'll know as well, so very well done if you went for any of these. We'll start with the 1950s. Frankie Lane, or Frank I Lane, you'd probably call him. Johnny Ray had 3 #1 singles. Lonnie Donegan, Cumberland Gap, amongst other things. Rosemary Clooney as well, George Clooney's aunt. Dickie Valentine, Bobby Darin, Eddie Calvert, Eddie Fisher as well. Jimmy Young, pointless answer as well. Unchained Melody amongst his #1s. Tennessee Ernie Ford as well. Elvis and Cliff were the big scorers there for the 1950s. Now the 60s. Let's take a look here. 2 #1s for Helen Shapiro. 2 for Nancy Sinatra as well, 3 for Roy Orbison. Now, the Bee Gees you wouldn't necessarily think of as having #1 singles in the 60s, but they had 2. I've got to get a message to you in Massachusetts, both #1 singles for the Bee Gees. Loads of other pointless answers there. Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas, Engelbert Humperdinck, Georgie Fame, Petula Clark, Spencer Davis Group are up there, the Seekers, the Tremolos, the Walker Brothers as well. Make it easy on yourself, and the sun ain't going to shine anymore. If you're going to have 2 #1s, those are 2 good #1s to have, aren't they? Beatles and the Stones were the biggest scorers there. Elvis scores again. And 1970s. Well done if you said any of these. David Essex had 2 #1s. Dawn, who did Knock 3 Times and Tie a Yellow Ribbon. John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John had 2 #1s, both from Greece. Susie Quattro as well, Can the Can and Devilgate Drive. Art Garfunkel had 2 #1s in the 1970s. Blondie were a pointless answer. Very well done if you said Blondie. David Cassidy as well. David Soul, Don't Give Up on Us and Silver Lady. David Soul from Starsky and Hutch. Gilbert O'Sullivan, Mungo Jerry and the New Seekers as well were a pointless answer. Very, very well done if you got any of those pointless answers at home. Some good ones, aren't there?
Very
and
good.
Terrific work with Frank Ifield. See, kids, revise, revise, revise. That's all you got to do.
There we are. Well, thank you very much. And thanks once again to our winning players, Bex and John, who take away today's jackpot of £1,250. Join us next time when we'll be putting more obscure knowledge to the test on Pointless. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.